Hey everybody. Hi. Welcome to the show. It is Friday. We're putting a bow on this week, and again, it's been a good week. I thought it was going to be a good week, just based on what was coming our way with the guests and the topics and the breaking news, and it always ends up being something slightly different than you expect, but never bad. And after a good run the first 4 days, there's nothing like coming back for a fifth and kicking your shoes off and just chilling out. And I think we're going to be doing that tonight. We got some great guests. I'll introduce to you those people in just a second. So, what are we doing on May 5th? It's Cinco de Mayo. Do you celebrate privately? I do. So we won't be talking about that tonight. It's a very private issue. And, I don't know, other than that, I was really just talking about next week. Next week, we have a couple of open-ended shows that are just going to be very topical and call-based. Jay Dyer is coming back on May 10th. I have a bunch of things I want to talk with him about. Next Thursday, May 11th, Jay Gulanello is coming in. That's our based nutritionist. I have so many things to ask him about, including our talk last night about all of the fermented dairy products and how they actually can help increase the size and function of your testicles. So we're going to be having a testicle talk on next Thursday. And then next Friday the 12th, who knows what's going on. And it only gets better from there with all of our guests for the end of May, and now I'm booking into June. I am also going to have a definitive book club announcement on Monday about what we're doing in the month of June. We are changing it up a little bit, and I think it's going to be a really nice summertime pick, if you ask me. So Monday, you'll know all about that. So get ready, everybody. If you are a monthly subscriber, you know that you are going to be in for that exclusive live journey. And if you want to be a part of book club this time around, or for the rest of the year, because we still have to read The Godfather in the fall, then become a monthly sponsor at any tier. It doesn't matter. You get those exclusive broadcast links sent to you directly. All right. So now I'm going to go and bring our guests in. Hold on. Here they come. Wait, they're coming on in. All right, they're here. All right, so everybody to my left is going to be Matt. Matt is back for the evening. What's going on, Matt?
Hello, Francis.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You sound very happy. How was work today?
I hated it.
People are always very distressed when they hear that you hate every day of work.
I hate every day of it, every minute.
Well, you know what? You can commiserate with our next guest. Our next guest is our good buddy. Now, when I say good buddy, I mean a really good buddy. And he is... Wait, where the hell is he sitting? No,
I'm not there.
Oh, there's Vinny Brusco. Vinny Brusco, welcome to the show, man.
What's up, man?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Vinny Brusco. He's got his own show, The Vinny Brusco Show. It's all linked in the description. I'll be plugging it throughout the night. But, man, we go way back. This is the first time you're on my little... My little program here.
Little. How dare you?
It is a little tiny thing.
Oh, it's lovely. I love it.
It's a cozy little thing. So, man, are you ready to chill out for the rest of the evening?
This is, it's what I knew I was walking into, but it's elevated through the experience that I'm having right now. You've cultivated something here that is just energetically so authentic to you.
Doesn't it feed your soul to be in here?
It does. It really does. When you came to the pod shed and we did the podcast, you had mentioned the essence of the room, right? And it was my brain scattered throughout the pod shed.
Yes.
It is no different in here. The energy in here is just perfect.
You have been around many of these relics before.
Yeah.
The horse's head, that stuff. That was in the old studio.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to do some reminiscing tonight, no doubt.
Tons of reminiscing.
It's going to be great. It really is. It already is. It already is great. But I've got some stories that we can talk about. We're going to take some calls at some point. I have some really great threads that we're going to be able to kick through. Oh, here's the first one. I don't know if you guys heard about this. Oh, wait, no. That's something else. But take a look at this one. It's from the New York Post. Did you hear that a giant... What the hell's going on here? Facebook. The hell is Facebook? I'll go on Facebook. There's a giant penis that has been mowed into the lawn at King Charles Coronation Bash site. So heard that he's being coronated over the weekend?
All right.
Yeah, well, he's going to be, it's like putting on a 1,000-year-old cloak and all that stuff. Anyway, this vampire's getting coronated, and this may rub the royalists the wrong way. Cocky pranksters mowed a giant penis onto the famous grounds of the Royal Crescent in Bath, England, where a significant coronation party is set to be thrown in just 2 days. Nice. Residents awoke Thursday to morning wood with a glaringly obvious penis trimmed into the lush grass overnight.
Can you say that line one more time?
That one right there?
Glaringly obvious penis?
Yes, glaringly obvious penis trimmed into the lush grass overnight.
Neatly trimmed penis.
Look at it. It's a giant. It is.
That's nice work.
It's not bad for a lawnmower. How do we know it wasn't aliens? That's the real question.
I was going to make a crop circle comment.
It clearly has to be made.
Because to be able to pull this off in what I would have to imagine is a very tightly monitored piece of property overnight is crop circle-esque.
It's an inside
and
job.
then you have to figure, is it a hand lawnmower or is it like a sit-down lawnmower? It has to be a sit-down. That's going to make a lot of noise. It's not like a very subtle thing.
Right.
So there's got to be something's afoot here. Inside job?
Of course it is. Of course it is. It was probably Camilla.
Right.
Anyway, so there you go. That's a little.
What's her name? Meghan Merkel.
Meghan Merkel?
Yeah.
You think she's behind it?
She might be either that or descendants of the Adams or something.
She's desperate. That Meghan Merkel. She's a desperate woman. She really is. She wants the attention, so she would do it. What do you guys think about this, though? Because this is more so a local story. Did you hear that hundreds of pounds of pasta was dumped in New Jersey woods a couple of days ago?
I did.
I did not hear that.
But I also heard there was a massive recall of certain spaghetti products around the area.
Look at this,
around
though.
the same time.
No, but they're saying that most of this was cooked and then dumped.
Really?
Well, we're talking. They're estimating.
What the fuck?
Look at these piles.
That might be aliens.
Piles of pasta.
That might be aliens.
They're estimating 300 to 400 pounds worth of pasta.
Damn.
And here's a little bit of the reporting from ABC. Officials in New Jersey are noodling over a pasta mystery in Old Bridge. More than 500 pounds of pasta was dumped in the woods last week, including ziti, spaghetti, and other noodles. How dare they call
I
this
love
noodles?
ziti, yeah.
The community advocate posted photos of the heaps of food along a creek in Veterans Park. My gosh.
That is bizarre.
It is. The photos she posted started to circulate on several local Facebook groups. The township has no bulk garbage pickup, Nina Jonowitz said, and the funny dump this time was pasta, which you all picked up. While several people on the street, including Nina, said that they know who did it. But it's a person they care deeply about, and it's a sensitive situation.
Right. Hold on.
Someone just made a bogus order. Someone called up and ordered a bunch of pasta, never came.
Or maybe they were a pasta hoarder. Like they hoarded pasta, and their house was just filled with boxes of pasta.
Do you understand the preparation that is needed?
That's a long time.
That is, I mean, beyond restaurant-esque levels of pasta.
No, there's no restaurant in New York that has 500 pounds of pasta stocked. The preparation is incredible.
And who's the person that has this much pasta lying around? You have to be a pasta hoarder.
Well, yeah, here's the thing.
Did it have sauce with it, or was just the noodle?
No.
Just the straight.
You provide the sauce.
Yeah.
But listen, if you
BYOS.
If you go and buy a half a ton of ammunition.
Right.
Live rounds for your rifle or whatever. The ATF is going to get flagged.
Right.
Nobody's looking out for copious amounts of pasta going out the door, and any local. I don't know. This had to have come from several stores.
This is years. This has to be years of collecting pasta.
They knew this day was coming.
It's their apocalypse. It's their pasta lips.
You're right. Well, so let's see. This instance of illegally dumping may seem like a bizarre one-off occurrence, but Nina said it points to the larger issue of bulk garbage. She said financial constraint sometimes prevents people from properly disposing of large items like couches. Jonowitz said adding bulk pickup would add less than $90 a year to people's garbage bills, but she said that the township voted down the proposal. So is this protest for how they don't have enough garbage pickup? It's just a lot of work. What else?
Don't you slip your garbage guy a couple bucks and let him just take whatever you got? Like if you demoed your bathroom and you got some extra sheetrock lying around, you throw him a couple bucks, he looks the other way, it's in a black bag, see you later. How would he not be able to dispose of, that amount of pasta? He'd probably call the police on you.
You have to do a little bit every day.
No.
Just slowly, you gotta flush out the pasta.
They said that they picked this up in less than an hour.
Really?
Public Works cleaned up all of this and got rid of all the pasta in less than an hour. But town officials said that they estimated that several hundred pounds of uncooked pasta was removed from packaging and dumped along the creek. They said it looked like it was there a short time, but moisture from the area did start to soften some of the pasta.
Was it al dente?
It had
to be al dente.
There's no way you can get beyond that.
No, definitely not. Not from creek water.
No, not from the morning dew. The morning dew.
Morning dew is not going to give you a soft pasta.
Yeah, that's odd.
That's bizarre.
Either way, the preparation. You're talking hundreds of pounds. Did you guys see what happened at Fenway Park? Somebody filmed the kind of reception that Bud Light stands are getting.
I did see that.
Incredible. I got to say, I really got to hand it to people. American consumers have really, really hurt Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah, I didn't see this, though.
Dude, check this out.
I did see something else about at Fenway. They had a female. I don't know if this was recent. It's the first time I saw it. She's a female. She's the first female pitcher ever to play a game in like Division I college baseball, whatever. And she threw out the first pitch, and she tried to pitch it, and
listen, I saw it too. I saw it too. I was going to bring it up, but then I already said enough on Twitter, and I said I'm going to let it go. Here's what I'll say. It's not that she doesn't have the arm strength to make it from the mound. She overthrew. You put anybody in that situation in front of a stadium, and sometimes nerves will just get the best of you, even if you can throw on target 99 times out of 100. So she overthrew it. But the idea that they're saying this is the first ever female D1 baseball player, men's league baseball player. We dug up her stats. She had one at bat.
Oh.
She's 0 for 1.
Right.
I think she played the field one inning. It's all social justice, virtue signaling nonsense, and it's just so sad that they set women up to fail like this with this pumping shit up. It's so sad that they do this. The ball, whatever. She threw better than Anthony Fauci did, but there's a little bit of there's a footnote there.
Right, there's a little asterisk at the bottom of that baseball card.
Like when they get the girls to sign on to the men's college football team as kicker, and they put them in for one play, and they have them do a squib kick and run away.
Right.
No. They the soccer players, if they actually squib kicked it, they'd get killed because then there's going to be contact. But it's just those things. I don't know why we trip over ourselves to make these. We got to make these displays, and I don't know. It's just
it's a complete display, and even as a father of a young lady, right? If as a parent, and you could understand this. Would you even want to put your daughter in that type of circumstance or situation to make her a statement or
a
to
token? She's a token.
Yeah, you're making her a symbol that, and it's being bastardized. It's not in purity. It's just being done for your point of just parading her around to say we have the first female to do this thing in an all men's thing. And it's literally just using the child to promote a narrative.
100%. And I'm glad you brought it up because when I wanted to bring this up initially, I was going to ask you, as a father of a daughter, what do you think about this? To have her become a token, because you know what? I hope that Aurora wants to play baseball one day. I would coach her in Little League, and then I'd get her into girls softball. And girls softball is very, very rewarding. There's some great shit going on out there, and that's where they're set up to really thrive. Really thrive. But you're nothing but a puppet to do this one little thing, to put your name in a ledger for a day, and it doesn't change anything. It'll never mix. It's never going to happen.
Nor should it.
No,
nor should it. And again, as a father to a daughter, I want her to be the best version of herself. I want her to dominate in anything that she does. I want to promote her independence as a young girl, to a young lady, to a woman, and I want her to embrace all of that to the utmost of her ability. But I also don't want her to be in a situation where, because of her gender, she's being manipulated by a system that's going to allow her to be, to your point, a token.
You've grown a lot, Vin.
Thank you. Since the old days of talking about shock jockery.
I always tell people, oh man, I just found you now. I feel like I've missed out on so much. Be happy you found me now, I always say, because we had to work a lot of things out back then.
Yeah, but you know what? And I spoke about this with your brother. It was a sign of the times, though. Like the times that when we were doing the shows, which is over 10 years ago. I mean, how long have you been doing this?
My solo show, or just in general?
In general, broadcasting.
We started in February of 2006.
So I started the show, the Vinny Brusco show. It was under the demo show at that point. It was 2007, and we were recorded on CDs because I didn't know about the network at that time, and we'd hand them out like demos of a band for people to listen to. But yeah, it was a sign of the times, and there was a lot to iron out and grow into. That's the real part of it. You've grown up.
Yes. I'm happy we have too.
Yeah, me too.
Because what the hell? I mean, you got to talk about something else.
Yeah. Although we did just talk about a dick mode inside the lawn.
Hey, that's not. Hey,
we didn't do it.
We didn't do it.
Right.
Okay, we didn't do it. Here is despite packed Red Sox game, here's what is happening at Bud Light stands in Fenway. Fans at one of baseball's iconic stadiums appeared to be opting out of Bud Light following its partnership with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. But look, this is what was going on. Hold on. Wait. Oh, great. It's going to TikTok.
Guys, this is so funny.
Oh, God. Here you go.
Guys, this is so funny and bizarre.
Bizarre.
Look at that. That is
Nobody.
the Bud Light. That is every single...
Nobody is standing there, and you can see the refrigerators are completely stocked.
Bud Light stand here at Fenway Park in Boston. Right? We're at the Red Sox game.
No thanks.
That's what the Bud Light cans are. Holy crap. They're in trouble.
They're in trouble.
Yeah. You can't sell beer at a ballpark.
Well, it's Boston.
It's Boston.
That can go two ways, right?
Oh, you think that they're not going for Bud Light ever?
Well, no, I don't think they're going to be as tolerant of that type of promotional advertisement. And maybe I'm stereotyping, and I hate to be doing so, but Boston may not be as accepting of that. Although, to your point, it's also Boston, so you would think that no matter what it is, at a Red Sox game, they would be drinking it.
Right.
So it is this kind of, oh man, what is worse? Is the fact that they're not drinking or that they're not supporting anything?
You know what the issue is? They've won a couple of World Series since 2004. Okay, they've now they are a contemporary competitive championship team. They're a championship caliber team since 2004. They've won like 3 World Series.
Sure.
If they had still not won, they would have been drinking that beer no matter what the hell it was, because you needed a lot of alcohol to get through the years as a Boston Red Sox fan until 2004.
Right.
So it's
a good point.
Yeah,
solid point.
Well, here's one last one for the opening, and then we're going to kick this one off. I know we haven't started yet, Vin.
This is not even the show.
This is just this is the pre-show to get people in their seats.
This is the appetizer.
Exactly.
Hence the music going.
The appetizer.
I love that.
Here, Matt, this one is the one you're going to like. Ready? TikTok users, let me get everybody off the screen so we can see this. TikTok users who watched gay content prompting employee complaints. So they're tracking users who watch gay content for at least a year. Some employees at TikTok were able to find what they described internally as a list of users who watch gay content on the popular app. It was probably because they wanted to reward them. A collection of information that sparked worker complaints, according to former TikTok employees. TikTok doesn't ask users to disclose their sexual orientation, but it cataloged videos users watched under topics such as LGBT, and the former employee said the collection of information, which could be viewed by some employees through a dashboard, included a set of affiliated users who watched those videos and their ID numbers, they said. So just wanted to make sure wanted to see who the candidates for new CEO of TikTok could be. That's really what it's all about. They're trying to promote from within. All right, that's it. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, I've shared all of our links across all the socials that you can find this show on, from Gab to Telegram, Twitter, Truth, Getter. Go and find those live links and get them the hell out. We're about to do a little bit of reminiscing, a little bit of phone calls, some leg lengthening updates, and away we go. Goodbye.
Would you rather have a high-profile job for no pay or clean sewers for $100,000 a year?
I think a high-profile job with no pay.
I would prefer to have the high-profile job without pay.
I'm cleaning sewers for $100K, man. Ain't no shame in my game.
I'm cleaning sewers. There's no question about it.
Oh, I'm gonna clean the sewers for $100,000 a year.
I'd rather do first one.
You don't want to do the dangerous, dirty jobs.
I know.
So could that possibly be why so many women earn less money than men?
Yep.
So is that based on discrimination or based on choice?
And choices.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!
A record of the delightful piece they're going to play this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
Back for another night, another Friday night. Your attention, please.
And now the moment we've been waiting for is here.
Okay. So let's get this one nice and pushed off to sea. Casting off now. I'm here with my buddies. I think Anthony is going to stop in at some point tonight. I hope it's soon, because he's usually not here for the rest of the evening. But we've got Vinny Brusco.
Very excited. I feel like I just went through a time machine. Like, I feel like I just transformed through time and space.
From what point?
Back to the old days. It was just like just sitting and watching the intro and being in this space. It's like an alternate reality. It's wonderful. I'm so happy for you.
Oh, dude, well, thank you. First of all, thank you. And I'm just glad that we're all still doing it. And let me ask you, what is it about the talk medium? What is it about the microphone for you? I want to hear it from you.
Yeah.
What is it about talk shows, radio, the microphone for you? Because I know what it is for me, and I have to imagine we're almost on the same page. Go ahead.
I'm really excited to hear what it is for you. For me, it's what I've always wanted to do, and I think it's the capacity for flow and endless pursuits of enhancement through conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's this ping pong of ideas and learning. It's the learning element that I find to be so captivating. And when you sit down and you have a conversation with someone, and we so rarely get to do that. I did a 4-hour podcast last night.
Oh, really?
I did a 4-hour podcast last night with an intermission because I lost internet service. So, okay, 3.5 hours.
Oh, I remember those days.
Right? And what other platform, and I'm so happy that podcasting is where it is, because what other platform can you sit and have a nuanced conversation about free will and determinism and wax and wane and discuss life, and it's this new age version of sitting around a fire.
Yeah.
And there's something about it beyond any other form of entertainment that, to me, just resonates on such a soulful level.
I'm with you. It's conversation is the big thing. The human voice is a wonderful thing. I mean, some voices just make you want to just go nuts in a bad way. But I just always love the nuts and bolts of mass communication, and that kind of crackly voice coming through transistor radio at night in a distant location. You're able to pick up something from far away.
Yes.
You know, even just a signal from space to think about, you can actually maybe send something even farther. And yeah, I don't know, man. There's something there that is very nourishing, and there's something very comforting about even sitting in a room and listening to a conversation. It's almost like being in the living room as a child, listening to all the elder statesmen in my family just gossip and talk about nonsense. I'm just sitting there wondering when I was going to fit into that. But still, I don't even know what they're talking about, and it just feels great. They're carrying on, and I'm just listening. It's just something about the listening.
I know exactly what you're saying. I think for me, the listening element of it, and I think the headphones add such a component. It's like you're in this vacuum, but I'm a very curious person, you know, in my own endeavors and in my own exploration of my interests. And I think that through the conversation, you get to go into these different rabbit holes with people, and you get to learn how their brain works and the nuances and the little nooks and crannies within them. And it's exploratory. And there's something about doing it where you feel like I remember listening to Opie and Anthony a lot, and there was no streaming. Like, they would have webcams up in the studio here and there, right? And I would log on just to see what was going on. It was like you were seeing this behind the scenes or how it was made type of thing. So now that, you know, podcasting has become such a viable format, right? And so many of them are video as well. It's like you're watching this thing be created. It's really, it's like watching an artist paint. I love it.
Yeah. Well, who the hell were you talking to for 4.5 hours? What was the topic?
David Lawrence. He's the author of the book, Are We Really Biochemical Robots? And it's a question of determinism versus Sam Harris's take on free will. Okay. And his stance is that we do have free will, and Sam Harris has the stance of determinism, that everything since the Big Bang has been laid out forever, and we are just basically living it out. And then it's just the argument of those two talking points.
Well, I understand that anybody in that field and wants to go into published ideas like that would have to take on any kind of thoughts that come from someone like Sam Harris and be able to either, you know, pick it apart, debate it in some way, throw up some resistance to it. Who knows? But I think Sam Harris is a complete idiot.
Do you?
I really think he's a fucking idiot.
Really?
Yeah. And maybe we can get. I think especially since he's just shown how he can shut off reason. He just completely shuts off reason. A militant atheist guy too, and I think that he just shuts off reason when it comes to politics. Anybody that has their common sense just get flipped off like a switch when it comes to earthly party politics is fucking insane. I think that there's just, you want to talk about biochemical robots. That is a robotic kind of, you know.
It fits his personality for sure to have that type of that mindset and to follow that type of philosophy for sure. And that's kind of where David Lawrence was going with, is that he is a Sam Harris fan. So he's not shitting on Sam Harris, but when he read his book on determinism, I don't know the exact name of it, he read it and he's like, I don't agree with any of this stuff. And I've agreed with so much that he's spoken about before, written about before. And that kind of set him on this path of just writing it out. And then he's like, what started as just a kind of blog post type of thing turned into a book. And he does a great job of breaking it down in the different compartments of both of those. And
is he a peer of Sam? Do they know each other?
No.
Okay.
No, he just latched onto that idea and went with it.
Well, that's great. That's great that you're going into that there, and that's all on your YouTube channel.
That's on the YouTube channel. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I did kind of say, just formally, because I've been waiting for this day that you came on. Thank you for having me on your show a couple of months ago.
That was great.
But you know, next time you want to have me on, you should actually book me and not some pale water balloon monster. What the hell's wrong with your cameras, man? I don't look like that. I don't look like that. Who the hell is that?
The light. We just discussed it. We just discussed that.
Who's that water balloon faced monster? That's not me.
We just discussed that. That my studio is aesthetically wonderful as it is, and I'll give it the credit. It's a very cozy atmosphere. My downfall of this podcast is the technological endeavor that I constantly am dealing with the lighting, and I don't know these things, Frank. I don't know them.
Yeah.
I don't want it. I quite frankly, no pun intended, I don't want to know them. I don't, and that's the part of it. I just want to go in, I want to hit a button, and I'd like to just do my podcast.
I know.
But it's not at that level yet. So there is a lot of things that I need to deal with, and one of them is lighting and camera work, and I am shit at it.
It takes a little while. It really does. But I told Lauren when you texted me, you said, "Hey man, the episode is live, and everybody you should really go and check out Vinny Brusco's setup here. Here it is. It is the Vinny Brusco Show on YouTube, but it's also VinnyBrusco.com. You can find his YouTube and his Instagram there. That's where he's doing most of his stuff. But that is episode 459, The War on Free Thought. It's a really great talk, and I can't wait to do it again.
I'm orange. The whole thing is orange.
Yeah,
there.
but you still have cheekbones. There's something has happened to me, okay? Where this,
it might have been that other camera.
I feel like Doc Brown from the alternate future, where this has happened to me. I went to Lauren. I said, Vinny just put the episode live. He just put the episode live. Please look at this. Do I really look like this? She says, Frank, no, it has to be. I'm telling you, I don't. I
mean, listen. Obviously, there's a problem with the lighting, with my camera. I'm the first to say it.
Obviously,
I'm the first to say it. I openly admit it. You're not the first person to complain about the lighting or the aesthetics of the camera work, but it's something I'm working on, and I do apologize if you feel that you were not depicted in a way that is truly your beauty.
Yes. Well, one day we'll get it right. You'll see. The next time I'm at Vin's show, you'll see.
We're gonna get dialed in.
You know, I want to say this now too. I don't know if Anthony's. Hey, Ant! Ma, the meatloaf! Ma! Let's see if he comes in. Anyway, the Zadalza years. Now, everybody, if people probably don't know, how far do we go back?
I'm gonna sit back for this one.
Now, Matt, you were around when people like Vinny showed up for the first time.
Yeah, I remember him.
Because when did we met Vinny through Craigslist? It was the personal section.
No.
Didn't you respond to Craigslist?
No, it was through my uncle who worked with Anthony.
Oh, that's right, Home Depot.
That's correct. And they got to talking about broadcasting, and he was like, "Oh, my nephew does radio as well." And then he had told me about your network, and then I sent in a demo. I sent in the demo.
I forgot about that.
That's 2007. And it's funny because you say to people when you podcasting, and so many people, and I'm sure you get it all the time as well, people will come to you and say, "Hey, I want to start a podcast. And my first reaction is always great, but my second is always, I don't think people realize the commitment that it takes to do this. And not even, to the capacity that you do it every night, 2 hours a night, it's a lot. To do one show a week, to do one show a month, it takes a lot. And I think a lot of people step into that space and think, "Oh, I'm just going to turn on a microphone, I'm just going to talk," and that's what it is. And that is a component of it. There's no question. But there is an energetic authenticity that comes along with it. And you said it on my show. I'm a lifer. This is something I've been doing since 2007. It's I used to walk around my neighborhood with my Talkboy tape recorder from home alone and record bits. Before I knew any of this. So it is kind of weird to see it grow from 2007 to where it is now, and the popularity and obviously all the financing behind it and how big podcasting have grown. It's really remarkable to see. I don't think it's grown like any other media.
It's taken over everything. But you're right. The failure rate is very, very high. I read something like over 90% of podcasts never get past their first episode. Like the first episode is put up and then it's never added to again, and then another outrageous number never gets past episode 10
or 3 or something. Yeah.
It's great, but then again, there's just so much out there flooded into space. But so that was 2007 or so. But around 2011, 10-11 is when we started putting out Craigslist ads and trying to get the word out that we had a studio,
right?
And we were looking to bring people on, and it was I don't know, it was incredible. It was really awesome, because if you think about this, we were all cutting our teeth. You know, Matt was even there. Matt had his own show for a while there too, but we were writing all of our shows under the same roof, different projects, but we're all writing our own shows. And we made this studio for people to come and get their stuff produced under the same network banner. And you know, when you think about it, you're still producing, you're still going on out there, you're still putting together shows, you're growing it, you've gone through several different actual reboots, because I know you had I know your past cast members.
Sure, yeah. There was co-hosts involved, multiple different co-hosts. One would, a couple left, one came back, and then so it definitely took on different shapes and forms, as I have, right? So the growth, it's almost like this audio journal and growth, and you could see the growth of me through these shows, Well,
then you guys got pulled away. I remember you guys got signed by Major League Gaming in New York.
Yeah, that was a really amazing experience where, we got reached out by Major League Gaming to do the show, because they were doing they started branching out to non-video game content. So they were like, we want some, kind of different shows. So we started doing our show there, and that lasted all of an hour. And then they went to strictly gaming format, and it was a great experience. But it's amazing how when you get to a certain place, or what you think you want to achieve, and then you get there, and then you realize, like, this isn't, you find the pimples on it. We had to take the train to city, and it's weird to even, like, in hindsight, to be complaining about these things. And it's not a complaint; it's more of an observation that once you get to this thing that you're striving for, and then you get there, and you're kind of like, okay.
That's why there can't be a finish line.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
There can't be a finish line. There can't. I mean, hey, so if you're passionate about something, where the hell's the finish line of your passion? That's ridiculous. I mean, even every time Derek Jeter won a World Series, he didn't rest on his laurels. He wanted another one. You become. It's just something that if it's you, it's you. Now think about this though, and Matt, think about this. I was reflecting on it a little bit before you came over here, because we're going to do a little bit of retrospective right now, but then we're going to get into some other stories. You're still doing your work. You're broadcasting. You're producing. At the same time, while you were there with all the other guys of your cast, on another time slot was Chrissy Mayer.
Yep.
Chrissy Mayer and her whole crew. I was getting my act together.
Right.
Under the same roof. Anthony Rodia was doing his show. Anthony Rodia is fucking huge right now.
Yeah, I still talk to him.
He's selling out Atlantic City.
Yeah.
He's all over the place.
Yep.
Anthony Rodia was doing his show there for a year or two. Anthony, my brother, he's the one who got hot first.
Right.
He went viral first. So if you just think about this, if that group right there had stuck together, and let's say we wanted to really stick together, we all had this collective network dream together. We're talking about maybe this day in 2023, a couple of million people who would be tuning into ZenLive.tv every week.
Oh, easily.
Just from the people who were under our first roof in like the 2013 area.
Yeah.
It's really incredible. And to think that little studio that we built, that beautiful little studio we built inside that condemned building, was the podcast version of Seattle grunge scene in the 1990s. It really, nobody knew it.
It was. That's a really great way to put it. That's a really, really great way to put it. It was pirate radio.
Yeah.
It was this nuanced, small little market, and each show had its own personality and its own little vibe to it. But together and collectively, it all kind of flowed and worked in conjunction with each other.
Yeah. Do you hate that everybody has a podcast now?
I go back and forth with it.
I kind of roll my eyes sometimes and just like, oh, of course. But I
go back and forth because it goes back to that earlier point that I don't think that people realize the commitment and the passion. And I think I'm obviously very committed to it and I'm very passionate about it. So I have a lot of skin in the game where when people, again, are starting a podcast, I'm like, yeah, of course they are, right? And I remember when I bought my Rodecaster, I bought it from some girl. She was selling it on like Facebook Marketplace. And I went and met her, and her mom was there, and I bought the Rodecaster for like $250. It retails for like $500 plus. And I was like, well, why are you selling it? And she's like, well, I was going to start a podcast, but, there's no money in it, and I'm not going to do it. And a part of me wanted to say, like, why are you giving up on your dream? Like, you haven't even plugged the thing in, and you're giving up on it. And you're ready to sell it for pennies on the dollar, and I'll take it. But that being said, you're giving up on your dream. You haven't even tried. And I think that's the part of the podcasting world that, to your point earlier, where people, they release 1 episode or 3 episodes or 10, and it's just like, eh. And for some people, it is a hobby, and that's totally cool. But for people like you and for me to an extent, it's a non-negotiable.
Here's a quick clip. A whopper. This is from, I don't know, 10 years ago, it says. Vinny Brusco, Ride the Lightning. Just a real quick clip. So
did you recently make this? Is this a montage that you just put together for me?
This is from your your channel. All right. This is from 10 years ago. First of all of this, Anthony made. The Vinny Brusco Show. Anthony produced.
I still use the song.
Really?
Yeah, do I have to pay you?
No, I don't care. You can keep it.
Thank you.
No, remember, you guys paid for that production. Everything that we made for you is yours.
Good to know.
Here, you'll see a little bit of the old studio.
Pay royalties for the intro song.
This poor guy, 53-year-old man in Madrid, Spain. He was going for a nice little walk, and a bolt of
young Vin still had his whole life ahead of him.
Lightning struck him in the testicles.
Balls.
It certainly did.
No
went
beard.
Through his leg, grounded itself through his feet, and exited his body and burnt his balls.
We have audio of the event actually unfolding.
Exclusive audio here on the Vinny Brusco Show.
Ready?
Yeah.
And I was probably looking in through that side window, just looking at you guys, making sure everything was all right. Oh man, I really do miss that studio. I don't miss the mice, but Matt
took care of the mice, bro.
He did.
I slaughtered dozens and dozens of mice.
Dozens. Matt slaughtered one time. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden we were invaded by mice. It never came into the actual studio, but it was in that storage area. And when Matt went in there, he realized how bad it was. He started setting traps. The next day, we started hearing the traps going off like it was a machine gun. He was catching mice 3 heads to a trap sometimes.
Jesus.
I think what I catch, like 26 mice in half a day or something.
Well over 24 mice in the first day.
Didn't you have a cat?
Yeah, well, she just,
Not at that time, I don't think.
No, Pyretta.
No, there was a cat.
Yeah, she was looking at the wall.
She was looking at the wall. She knew something was there. But
wow. Yeah, that was crazy. What a wild time. And then to see the evolution of it really is, and the growth of it, and the journey that went along with it. And like you said, then what a different human being I was.
Yeah, I guess we all are, thankfully.
Thank God.
Yeah. I guess if you're not a little bit embarrassed about who you were 10 years ago, you haven't been growing.
Yeah,
good
point.
It's not good to be embarrassed. Maybe a little bit like cringe, like, oh.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Some of that guy getting his balls struck by lightning, and now I'm having 4-hour conversations about free will.
Exactly. It's not good. That's a good metric.
It's balance. It's balance.
That's it. Now, this is something else. You want to talk about people who are just trapped on the material. Matt and I have been covering this leg lengthening surgery craze that has been getting more and more pronounced.
It's crazy.
It's real.
When I walked in, you guys were talking about it briefly, and I had no idea what you were talking about. I live in a bubble. Like, I don't really do much. I don't watch any TV. I watch maybe one show. Couple documentaries here and there, everything Star Wars. So let's just have a framework and a reference point of my connection to pop culture and news. It's very limited.
This was a thing years ago.
Where's it happening?
Oh, well, I mean, I guess anybody who has the money, obviously it's not going to be covered by insurance.
I think they do it a lot in Asia. I think you have to go to like Japan or something like that.
What they do is they put your legs into braces, and they break your femur and your tibia. And what they do is they separate your femur, your bones that they've broken, by, I don't know, a centimeter or a couple, so whatever the hell it is, and they allow it a week or so for the bone to actually grow and fuse together, creating new bone to make the gap go together, and then after a while they re-break it until they can add a couple of inches. So a guy that's 5'6" can become like 5'8.5", and they're happier with that. Whatever. Mike May said he wanted to do it at one point. That's why I was trying to get him to call in tonight, but he said he was busy. And we've been following this here. And now, I don't know if it's like buying a car and then realizing how many people are driving your own car. You see it everywhere.
Right.
But
it's called Bader-Meinhof.
Really?
The frequency illusion.
You should know that. You sell cars.
I do. And it's a frequency illusion that when you have something on your mind, you now then see it more often.
So you're not actually attracting it?
No.
Okay.
You're more aware of it.
Gotcha.
It's called the frequency illusion.
Well, now I know what the hell it's called. Bader-Meinhof.
Bader-Meinhof.
All right. Well, listen to this. Here's a New York Post article from 2 days ago. And this one is surprisingly a woman, because all of this has been men so far.
Yeah, of course it's men. But here's the real question. What's the height? I understand you said about 2 inches, 3 inches. Fine. But what's the threshold? Like, I'm 5'9". I'd love to be 6 feet, but I'm not going through all this to get. But if you're 5'5", and you're going to get to 5'9", I wouldn't do it, but I could understand why someone would be in that frame of mind where, like, I need to be a little bit taller.
Well, here's what this one, you know what? I'll save that one for next, because that's the woman. Here is a tweet I just got, I found the other day, by the Twitter account is LonelyFag15.
All right. Seems authentic.
And he's talking about an Instagram. The Instagram is called Got My Knees Done.
That's a real page, yeah?
It's a real page, and it's this guy's journey. I mean, he's jacked, but he's only a little bit taller than his wife, and he's getting his legs lengthened. And this is what Lonely Fag says. This male height obsession has got to stop. Y'all have dudes who are already married having their fucking legs broken and fused back fused back together like WTF. And then he said in a follow-up tweet, he says, I'm sure he's talking about the wife now.
Sure.
I'm sure she's less attracted to him now, not more. It's effeminate to have such a huge complex about physical feature that you can't control outside of an actual legitimate deformity. Play the cards you're dealt. What do you think about that standpoint? About playing the cards you're dealt and stop obsessing over things like this, that you'll actually go and have your legs bashed in for it.
I hate to say I agree with it. I mean, you know,
it's just,
you have to.
It's just so severe.
It is. It's very extreme. It's very extreme to gain 2 or 3 inches. You know, how sensitive or how frail is your mind? And there's obviously something there that's going on behind the scenes, and that's where I get really interested. I really don't care about the surgery. I want to know what's going on in your mind that you feel like this is really going to. It goes back to the finish line idea. Like, you feel like these extra 2 inches are going to give you this boost of whatever, and it's going to make you feel that much better. I maybe it will. I don't know, but try meditating.
I don't know, Matt. What do you think about it so far? Do you think it's?
I think if you're short, you're short. You got to deal with it.
Yeah. See, there's a couple other tweets.
If it bothers you that much that you're short, then just work out and be the most fucking jacked, ripped, short person you can be.
But out of guys, that is the thing that you would most likely be most culturally sensitive to, like your height. Like it is a thing. Like you walk in a room, you're kind of like, that guy's tall. You know what I mean? Like you notice, and then there's obviously the jacked element. Yeah. There are some other physical features, but that would be a point of reference for guys to feel a certain amount of manliness.
I'm not going to deny that it probably would. I can see
How
why.
How tall are you?
5'11" and
see, you're right there.
I've never hit 6,
but you're right there.
But I was above 11.
Like, for example,
at one point.
when I went to Mexico, I went with someone we grew up with. He's like Mike Mace height, but he's fucking jacked. Dude, we're walking on the beach. The dudes were just like, God damn, like, you know, like they weren't looking at him because he was short. They were looking at dude because he was fucking jacked.
Well, yeah,
Get jacked if you're short.
I would understand. I would understand if it would cause a complex because, like you said, genetically. And here's a couple of tweets. Somebody named Tex said, "I blame women." And then he said, "But I also blame men." And then he
accurate.
said,
Very accurate.
Here's another one. Strong Bags says, "Embarrassing. Women want men who are genetically tall, not tall through breaking their knees." It's true. I don't know. Okay, I can't put myself into a female mentality, but I cannot see how. Oh, and you see how all these great height. Oh, he broke his knees, and
yeah.
What if you're a woman? And you find out that a guy you're dating went through the trouble of having their legs broken and lengthened. Would that send off any kind of Patrick Bateman red flags? Let me know about that because, here's the other thing. It's not just men apparently. I have to say, vast majority is going to be men. But look at this. Here's a female story from the New York Post. Let me see if I can get you guys.
It's not cheap either.
No.
I didn't think it would be, but $160 on that.
Look, now I haven't shown you her legs yet. Wait until I scroll down.
All right.
This is going to disturb you. I hope it does because it disturbed me. I'm
getting nervous.
I spent $160,000 on leg lengthening surgery. It changed my sex life. Here she is.
All right.
And here we go.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. It's not even proportionate.
What the hell am I looking at?
No.
She looks like an arachnid.
Yeah.
She looks like a giraffe.
Oh my God! Look, and she's got the
little linguini legs.
But
there's a mental thing going on.
Look at all the screw marks all over her ankles and thigh.
It just doesn't look stable. Eventually, those bones are gonna snap again, and then we're like, unfortunately, you got to go back to the size you used to be. That's what's going to happen.
How much did she add? Because there's a proportion thing that the human body needs in order to stay, to your point, stable, right? There's and just aesthetically, there's a proportion that makes sense. That didn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't because her torso is now like a child's torso. She looks like she has the torso of a 7-year-old compared to some arachnid from Starship Trooper legs.
How many inches does how many inches she
Let's
added?
see. Surgery has heightened this woman's modeling career and sex life. Yes, now she has none. No, you'll always find guys that'll bang you. Ladies, you have it very, very easy. Teresa Fischer, who starred on Germany's Celebrity Big Brother, has undergone 2 surgeries to lengthen her legs. She now stands 6 feet tall when barefoot. The 31-year-old underwent 2 operations to insert adjustable telescopic rods into her tibia, that's the shin bones, adding an extra 5.5 inches.
Well, there you go.
You cannot stretch 5.5 inches out of your body.
Yeah, doesn't that like stretch out the veins and everything else too?
I mean, the soft tissue would adjust. It would adjust, but like you said before, think about extending the hard tissue in your body.
That's got to be so painful.
Yeah, and what's the recovery on that?
At least I would probably 6 months at least.
That's the number I was thinking.
At least probably maybe 9 months. You probably never recover from it.
Yeah, good point. Mentally, you don't.
The total surgery cost was $124,000, but medications and physical therapy bumped her total up to $161,000, all of which she paid with the modeling checks she hopes will increase after this procedure. She is a circus sideshow freak. Oh my God!
Well, that's the thing. You go. She's on Big Brother. What is it?
I guess she was. It said
was on Big Brother. So she probably had some celebrity in Germany. All right. Some celebrity allure to her. The show ends. She becomes probably fairly, anonymous, and now needs to come back into the limelight in some capacity. And what better way than to add 5 inches to your bones?
The leg lengthening procedure. The process requires a painful procedure in which the doctor breaks the femur in each of a patient's legs and inserts extendable metal nails. The nails are gradually extended over the next 3 months by 1 millimeter a day, eventually making the recovered patient several inches taller. And then look at the x-rays.
Whoa.
Oh They got hydraulics. It's like hydraulics. But look at here's a tub shot of her. You ready? There's the child torso, and now, whoa.
Yeah, they're just
not right.
It's not proportioned.
It's not right.
It's kind of sad.
It is very sad. So,
you know, I look at, again, being a father of a daughter, I tend to look at things through the lens of my children or as the parent, and to have imagine that's your daughter,
yeah,
and again, to be made a token or some type of poster child for this whatever. It's sad. That's actually that now that we're talking about it and I'm reflecting on it, I'm like, that's kind of sad.
Yeah, you don't want people to suffer like that. I mean, what is the issue? It's again, in every way, shape, or form, I think the era in which we live is so dominated by this sick self-image. We've got really, really bad self-image problems, and people are so shallow. Not everybody, of course. This is a planet of 8 billion people,
right?
But there is definitely a predominant popular culture that is leading people to do really. You can tell it's nihilism based, because who would do this? You're not living if you're fretting over how you can make your femur longer. You're not really living life, because you're talking about finish lines and purpose in life. Once you get your femurs extended, now where do you go? Now where do you go?
Yeah, but if you draw out that timeline of those types of things, you could say that almost about anything, right? Having a six-pack can be a version of that same exact thing that people go through, and not even surgical implants, but I'm just saying through rigorous, for some people, rigorous types of workouts and extreme dieting just to get a certain aesthetic look. Now there is a benefit to working out, and obviously that six-pack is a representation of your health and wellness to some degree, but there is like bodybuilding, perfect example. There's a very unhealthy relationship with the self in that world, and this is no different than that. It's just that we've made that a sport, and this has become a surgery that's being done for $160K, and there's obviously a manipulation of someone's mental instability.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought up bodybuilding, because there is we talk a lot about dysphoria these days.
Yeah.
Tons of body dysphoria in the bodybuilding world. I mean, it's just, it drives people to do things that are irreparable.
But so here's a perfect example. Do you have that? Would you say that you ever feel that you are at an aesthetic, physical point in your life where you're like, I'm good?
After I saw myself on your show,
that was going to be my follow-up.
I haven't eaten since last week. Okay, I'm starving myself since last week. I said, all right, well, that's it. Not gonna eat until June. What the hell?
You don't know what it reminded me of? Like, you should put a picture side by side, like another good picture. It would look exactly like the Mike before and after picture.
Oh man, that's just something where, yeah, there are body transformations. There are things you got to do because you know that your life is on the line.
Yeah, what he did is fucking amazing.
Well, like some people get like stomach surgery and things of that nature.
My boss did that, and now he's doing that. What is that thing everyone's doing? The Ozempic.
I have no idea what that is.
The Ozempic?
Again, the bubble
shots.
And he's having
what
pains and shit. I guess it's a weight loss thing. You inject it once daily, and it works.
A lot of people are taking it. They're pre-diabetic or something like that.
Okay.
It's not just Ozempic. There's a whole category of shots now that you go in, and it helps you lose weight rapidly. And obviously there's also a lot of coverage on the side effects there too.
Sure.
People have been saying that it it goes and attacks healthy lean tissue and leaves behind the fatty tissue, and also people have been reporting crazy dreams on it and all that shit. But again, it's a society of shortcuts. I mean, we didn't take any shortcuts in our pursuit of being corpulent.
Right.
We didn't take any shortcuts at the pizzeria. We ate all the pizza, and now we want shots to bring us back down to some kind. I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's not enough to staple the stomach. It's not enough to break the legs. There's always going to be something else. until we find some kind of balance again. And I don't think that we're the last thing that we're connected to. We're connected to all types of media and all types of trends, but we're not connected to nature enough. I'm in that. I mean, I live in suburban New York. I'm jealous of people who are a lot more self-sufficient. I dream of doing things like that. I try to do whatever I can here, but I mean, we're still all 21st century digital boys.
Yeah.
It's just
it's funny you talk about the relationship to nature, and there was a stretch of time where I'd walk out on my front porch every morning with my kids, and we'd say good morning to the day and start the day. And one morning I went outside by myself, and I just looked up, and I was marveled. And I Instagrammed it, of course, right? But I was marveled at nature. I was just like, God damn it, this shit is marvelous. No enhancements, nothing. Cup of coffee, first thing in the morning.
That's the best.
Birds chirping. Multiple birds. They're serenading the morning. One over here, one over there. It's like they're singing with each other a cappella. The sun is coming up, and I was like, God damn it. And then I went on a trail walk. I do some trail running, and I'll do ruck walks every once in a while. And I was just marveled at the plushness. And again, when you don't put yourself in those situations, or you don't put yourself out in nature, you become like dulled down to the palette that is reality of the world that we interface with. And it's wild when you break outside of that dungeon of waking up and going to work and coming home and going whatever it is, and you're in a concrete jungle. And I'm talking about a trail that's not, I mean, we're not in Montana. We're in Westchester, New York on a trail. And there's houses everywhere, right? But even just looking at it and going, holy shit, like this is marvelous. And it really is. Yeah. And we've lost that connection wholeheartedly.
There's nothing like those mornings. Yeah, that's why I like going to the Adirondacks, bro. I'm waking up early as I can, just to go outside and the chill, the dew, and the smell, and it's something different with the birds too. The birds are different in the morning. It's not like they are in the afternoon.
They're not angry.
Yeah, they're just waking up. They're happy that they're I like that.
That's like a rebirth,
dude. I wait all year for that 1 week in the Adirondacks for that reason. It's just
and that's why I was like, I joke, I say I hate my job, but like in the summer, I don't really mind that much waking up and like going to check the cages in the morning. I see some shit that like people don't see. Like I'll go like check a squirrel cage. There'll be a hawk on top of it trying to get a squirrel and. Cool shit.
Well, it's the things that we take for granted. Like I took my kids to work, and I'm driving up 287 for us local focal, and there's a body of water, and my daughter looking out the window goes, "Oh, you're so lucky. You get to drive by this body of water every day," and I'm like.
You're right.
Holy shit, you're right. I just drive past it, not even paying attention to it. Most of the time, bitter. Right? Or angry or frustrated. This driving like a nut, or, not even cognizant that I'm next to this magnificent body of water. And you take it, and that's the beauty of having children, and that's when the manipulation of your children or a child, right, becomes really, really weird when they're extending their legs or they're being utilized as a token of football or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Right? Because their innocence, for me, is and we kind of talked about this a little bit when you came on the podcast. It's like this direct connection to God, and it doesn't have to be God in a white beard, you masturbate too much God, but it could be this direct connection to this energy that's so pure, and it's marvelous when you get to tap into that space.
The God and masturbation. There's a lot of questions I have about that, especially from a Catholic standpoint.
Sure,
because there's purgatory.
It's not a sin. It's not a sin.
Do you talk to your cousin about this?
I don't think I have, but I know it's
his cousin's a priest.
Not considered.
His cousin's the priest that baptized Aurora.
Okay.
I bet you any money he says masturbation will get you 1,000
I want to have
years.
a priest on the podcast.
Well, hey, I mean, I would love. I'm still fishing for a really good exorcist to talk to.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying, because Aurora is getting to that point now where even she is starting to make me go. You little bastard, you.
Yeah.
And she comes up and she'll throw her arm around me and she'll go, and I don't even know. She doesn't. I don't know. Maybe she does know what's going on. She'll go, "You okay, Dad?" And I'll just go, "What?"
Oh, she knows.
She's two and a half.
She knows.
You okay, Dad? It's gonna be okay, Dad. I'm like, what? I know, honey. I know it's going to be all right. Thank you, though. And she gives me a hug, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, they're way smarter than we give them credit for.
No, it's
or some people. I give my kids a lot. My kids are smarter than I'll ever be.
Yeah,
you lose it. You just end up. It dissolves over time, and then if you're blessed enough, you get to be circled back to your innocence and observations.
Here's something, because you mentioned your daughter in the body of water.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, I brought Aurora outside. It's all right, time to go outside, because we've really been getting her outside every day and running her ragged and all that. So she said, let's. She pointed up to the park. She wanted to go walk to the park. I said, let's go. So me and her on our walk again. And I started doing things I haven't done since I was a kid. So I would put her on the wall at the park, the wall that lines the park there, and we'd walk along the wall, and we found, these big puddles of water at the bottom of this 2-foot wall. And I said, oh, you want to know what we should do? We should throw rocks into this puddle. Because I always used to love just watching rocks splash into water. And I showed her. She went, oh, she started looking. Let's look for rocks. Yeah. And she's looking for rocks. We're taking things, and it's just me and this two-year-old running around looking for pebbles to drop into a puddle. And it felt fucking amazing. And what would I have been doing if she wasn't around? What would I have been doing at that point? Polishing up my format for the evening for the 4th time that day.
Right.
It's all perspective, and I don't know. I think that's just a wonderful thing here. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a break. It's 8 o'clock. We're halfway through. It's just insane.
Again, it's that vacuum that's created when you're in this space.
I should not have put anything in the title of tonight's show, because everything that I had for us to do, we can't fit it into the last hour. We'll see what we can do. We're going to go to your super chats, maybe some calls, and I have a couple of these stories that I think that you guys would really have a good time riffing on. So
all right, let's riff.
In the meantime, we will be... Hold on. Did I set this up correctly? No. Okay, we will be right back after this quick intermission.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out. Press the like button. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Now entering, quite frankly.
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 Quite frankly. Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
We all support quite frankly.
Not quite.
Let's go, Brandon.
Quite frankly, in Roma, Italia.
Quite frankly, you going on Frank's show tonight?
I really like you. You're very smart.
So everybody watch. Quite frankly, with Frank.
Daily basis.
I feel grateful every day. I feel grateful every day that I get to do it, and it's nothing but gratitude. And I think that the more that comes in, and I know that the more that comes in, that means people, that means new colleagues and friends and guests and connections and ways to enhance the nightly broadcast and ideas and crew members and just advancements in whatever. It is only ever humbling. It is only ever humbling. And I remember one night, I can't pinpoint when it was, but I'll always remember the evening. It was probably around the time, it was maybe about a year after Lauren and I were married. It was the night that I realized that finally the finances, my financial situation, I was doing this full time, and that I was paying our rent at home, and I was paying everything from this show, and that I had finally crossed into the black. And I remember being there at night, and I wasn't too much of a praying man at the time, because we're talking 2018ish, around there. I wasn't praying again a lot back then, but I was just feeling very grateful, and I guess I was talking to God. And then I thanked myself for not stopping.
Wow.
Because there were so many times.
Sure.
So many times that you could be very objective and pragmatic and say, it's time to maybe to do this one night a week. It'll be a nice little hobby, and I've got to go on some interviews.
Right.
Because if we're going to start a family, then what the fuck?
You started doing that too. I remember you went on an interview.
I went on one.
Didn't you? Oh, you went on one.
I went on one interview, and I thought, because my buddy was the head of marketing there, that it was almost like a shoo-in.
Did you fear that it was going to be a shoo-in?
I feared that it was going to be a shoo-in, and you know what? I never got a call back, and you know why? Because I'm pretty sure they looked into me and they saw my show.
Oh, maybe.
They were a big sports marketing company, but they were also very in line with the progressive, corporate line and all that stuff. And the fact that I never got a call back, it was shortly after that things took off. And I've never had at that point, didn't have a huge audience, but loyal, so supportive. I'm telling you, the audience is, I struggle to find the words about the gratitude there. But now, outside of that, when I look at things like, okay, we have a new intro video, or the website has been upgraded, or we did something cool, and I see what the production is on a level of now compared to even 4 years ago, that is a feeling of satisfaction that I think that most people would relate to when they have cleaned their bed, they have cleaned their room, they have made their bed, everything is in order.
Oh, that's the best.
It's just an operational satisfaction.
That is the best.
It's not a gloating thing. It's just operational satisfaction.
That's a good way to put
That's
it.
what it feels like.
Yeah.
The best way I can.
I wrote down here: gratitude and love are the currency of the universe. While you were saying that, I was like, wow.
Thoughts are things, man.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm happy that you're experiencing that level.
Well, you've got it too, man.
Oh yeah,
in many ways.
Absolutely, there's no question about that. But again, stepping into this space for the first time in this capacity in I don't know how many years, it's the same thing when you walked into my studio. Like how much of your influence to that world is a part of what I've built, right? It's a big influence, and maybe not in the aesthetics, right? There might be some different things on the wall, but energetically, it's the same exact expression. So it's cool to be in this space with you and doing this thing that has been, again, same thing. You're a lifer.
Well, we got to do it more often. Are you ever planning on doing live broadcasts?
I've toyed with the idea because I do the men's group stuff, which I love doing things around mental health and people's growth, and I love leaning into that. And I really wanted, and I toy around with the idea of doing like a Twitch or streamed show where it is almost like Frasier, right? That's like the goal. Like
call-ins?
Yeah, call-ins, but with self-help, And I'm not a therapist or a psychologist, but I think the insight and perspective is everything.
Whenever you start putting together your ideas of when it's going to, what night you want it to be, and all that other stuff, you let me know, and we'll kind of compare notes, because perhaps we can syndicate your live stream into a time slot on quitefrankly.tv, and because we're going to start building more live interactive programming outside of our curated playlists and all that stuff. So that would be awesome to have you.
It would be a blessing and an honor.
Well, we'll do that, because I definitely want call-in shows. That's going to be a great thing, and people would appreciate that. Now let's get to some super chats. First of all, I have to read a short email. This is from Christina. She asked for prayers last night for her father. She said, Frank, my dad messaged me and said that they could not find anything after they went in for his surgery this morning. No cancer, no tumor. They couldn't find anything. I'm not sure if they mistook something as a new growth or if it's just a freaking miracle, but I'm going with miracle, and I wanted to email you. He told me to say thank you to everyone in your audience for their prayers. I'm so grateful. Much love from Washington State, Christina. So there's some good news for you.
That's St. Carlo Acutis right there, praying over the internet. St. Carlos Acutis, he delivered right there, bro.
Really?
That's what he is. He's the patron saint of the internet and shit like that, bro.
Is that a real thing?
Wait, the internet?
He's a 17-year-old kid, yeah. He documented all the miracles of the Eucharist on the internet or whatever fucking he did.
But is this like a colloquial... is this a...
I mean, you prayed like on this internet or whatever, and Carlo Acutis heard the prayers.
You're telling me that there is a real patron saint of the internet?
St. Carlo Acutis. That's the one I told you they have his exhibit over in Haverstraw right now.
Hold on a second.
So it's like when I pray to St. Anthony when I lose my car keys?
Yeah,
Same premise.
He's pretty much like the
It's interesting. I did not think there was a patron saint.
17-year-old kid.
Here, this is from wordonfire.org. The patron saint of the internet is
Carlo Acutis.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Thomas Aquinas.
Bishop. Where the hell is it? I don't see Carlos Acutis anywhere.
Carlo
Acutis. It says Saint Isidore.
No, it's Carlo Acutis.
All right, so maybe I don't know. Carlo Acutis.
I sent you the fucking video about him.
Hold on. Carlo. I'm just gonna put Carlo in. Blessed Carlo Acutis was beatified on October 10th, 2021 in Assisi, and has been the subject of interest around the world. Pope Francis recognized the intercession as being healed a Brazilian child from an anomaly of the pancreas and approved him to be beatified. Ahead of his beatification, many wondered if he would eventually be named the patron saint of video gamers or web surfers.
Wow.
There you go.
It says they're wondering.
I think he's been sainted. I think that's done.
Blessed Carlo Acutis, future patron saint of the internet. He was born in 1991.
Yeah, dude, he's also incorruptible. He's like there in his genes and his St. Carlo Acutis.
At age 15, Carlo was diagnosed with an untreatable leukemia. He offered up his suffering for others, coping with the illness, and said, "I offer all my suffering I will have to suffer for the Lord, for the Pope, for the Church." Carlo died from his illness on October 12, 2006. At his request, he was buried in Assisi because of his love for St. Francis. His cause for canonization began in 2013, though. Archbishop Domenico Sorrentino of Assisi said Carlo was a boy of our time, a boy of the internet age, and a model of holiness in the digital age. As Pope Francis presented him in his letter of young people around the world, he's been wait, where the hell?
Wow.
I don't.
Yeah.
So he helped save.
I guess they attributed that miracle to him, but he also like documented all the miracles of the Eucharist. You know.
Wow.
Before the church even thought of doing it, I guess.
I mean, it's modern technology. I mean, it's what's the book? I'm drawing the blank on the book.
What?
American Gods.
I never read that.
Oh, Neil Gaiman?
I never read it.
New gods and old gods, and the new gods are like fashion and technology, and the old gods are the old gods, and it makes sense that there would be a patron saint of technology.
I just got that Jonathan Cahn book just showed up, the Return of the Gods. I can't wait to read that. He just did a wonderful spot on with Glenn Beck, and man, I can't wait to jump into this one. It's really, that'll probably be the subject of a couple of broadcasts. But let me get to some of these super chats before we get into. I see Anthony just walked in the door, so I want to welcome him for a second, but. Twisted Wizard says, "Hey Frank, this is on Rockfin. Hey Frank and Matt, going to send you more tips to get last night's tip read. Don't worry, Frank, we love the show nonetheless. Shout out to all the Franklies as well." Well, where'd you send the tip? I checked the Rockfin. I go through all this stuff methodically. Twisted Wizard says, and another tip for Vinny. What a great guy.
Oh, thank you.
Go. So, Vinny, you already have some people taking a liking to you.
Thank you very much.
Over here on, quite frankly, superchat.com, Dan Schumann says, "Here's a few pebbles for you. Enjoy the show. Have a great weekend." Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much. KT Sky D says, if I could just get to 5'4", my life would be set. My feet could maybe reach the floor when I sit in chairs. Sundresses wouldn't look so nunnish on me. People would take me more seriously at work. Sigh. Loving the show tonight. Big smiles. So she's not 5'4", Katie.
Well, that's a good point from the women's perspective.
Women, they can. I mean, unless you dip into 4'11" territory, then it gets a little uncomfortable.
Says the guy who's 5'11".
Yeah. But that's a foot. Yeah. I mean, then it's you feel like you're hanging out with your third grade cousin or something. You're like, Yeah. It's too short.
Yeah, there's a lot of jokes.
A lot of jokes.
Yeah.
But if you're a short guy, then you guys can just get together and it's all fine. But 5'4", 5'3", 5 foot. I mean, that's 5'2". I had a girlfriend that was 5'2.5", 3.
Yeah, that was 8th grade. No, I'm joking.
No, I think it was high school.
All right.
I think it was high school.
It's
Anyway.
also more acceptable then.
Dooku Dan says, each Christmas, one of my presents would be a new and improved crystal radio set, which was fun to put together. There's a magic to listening to radio that way. I loved my very first actual AM FM radio from Radio Shack and kept it for almost 30 years. I still had all my CB radios. I don't know where my base station is. That's sad to me. Gail Smith says, I just love your show. Hope I make it in time for this raffle for the Great Stove Topper. Yes, that'll be on Monday, so don't worry about it. You're in there, Gail. Matt Nelson says, Frank, I just want to thank God. My wife got into an accident yesterday and walked away with just a shoulder injury. I also want to thank her car, who we nicknamed Jimmy, for protecting her as well. It could have been so much worse. Love to the Frankleys. Oh, man, I could feel your relief. Thank you for sharing that, and enjoy the weekend. Be grateful. Summer 711 says, Frank, have you seen the 1988 film Stealing Home? Stealing Home. It's a baseball movie. I think you'll love it. I have not seen it. Have you guys seen it?
No.
I never heard of it.
One of my favorite movies, Field of Dreams. So I would think that Stealing Home would be.
You may have to. Okay, I'm just going to say it now then, and I'll announce it on Monday, because on Friday nights, some people don't watch live. They watch it on demand. I'm going to have to say it Monday anyway. I have a book club, and every quarter of the year we read a book, and I wanted to have a book to read for June, and I was going to do Democracy in America, but then I realized it's a fucking mammoth, multi-volume book. So I said I got to do something else. And this past Sunday on QuiteFrankly.tv, my Sunday night feature that I picked to air was Field of Dreams, which is a perfect movie.
It really is.
And it flattens you emotionally. It fucking destroys you, and I love it.
Me too.
It's got this spooky mysticalness about it, and then there's just, if you're a baseball fan, it just makes it feel even better. But you don't need to be. So what I decided is, I have the book it was based on. I never read it. Shoeless Joe.
Sure.
We're going to read Shoeless Joe. It's less than 300 pages, and my buddy Charlie Robinson is going to come on and be the co-host with me, because he loves the movie too. But if you want to read along, man,
I will read along.
Okay, I'll tell you all about it.
All right.
You go get yourself a copy. You can find it used on Amazon.
I will grab it.
All right, so that'll be a nice summer read. It really will be. Benjamin Farina says, Frank, excellent work. You crush it. Celebrating my oldest daughter's Pia's Holy Communion tomorrow morning. Keep her in your prayers. Ben Farina, Father Tom's friend. Ben, all the best to you. I'm actually, me, my brother, a couple other people, we are going to go celebrate our little cousin's first communion tomorrow too.
I did that 2 weeks ago with my daughter. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. It's a weird.
Well, my niece was baptized.
There you go.
Months ago.
It's a weird thing to hear people say congratulations for her communion. Like, oh, congratulations. Like, I guess so.
Yeah, no, congratulations.
Yeah, she's confirmed. She's, she's a Catholic. She's
all right.
Dude,
going to the promised land.
I guess so.
Let me just say, I was thinking about my confirmation today. And this morning, when I went down to record my morning podcast, I said, I'm going down a couple of minutes early because I want to find these letters I've been meaning to read. I read them like ever so often. And I found all of the letters that, when we were confirmed, we went to a retreat in West Haverstraw, and we went to a retreat there.
Corpus Christi, then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And like a week before we were confirmed, we would go to this retreat center, and we have a good time, and we talk, we reflect on things, and we get prepared for the sacrament. But there was at one point where we were all in this little chapel, and everybody was given a little package each, and they were all contained letters from people in our lives that had written in to say how proud they are of us, and little notes. And I read 4 letters today that I almost was not able to properly record the first show of the day today, because they were just so the letters from my grandfather.
Yeah. I know. I have those somewhere too. I can't read them.
Those letters every so often. I read the one today. The first time I read Skip's now to me since he died. I read hers, Pam's letter to me. It crushes me. Maria's letter to me. Oh man, those 4 letters. These things are so important. I don't even know how to quantify it.
You can't.
You can't. You really can't. It's just so important. It really is. So when you say congratulations, and I don't know, these are just big moments in all of our lives. And
Well, they're rites of passage.
Yeah.
You know, and on a big cultural standpoint, we've gotten away from those in a lot of ways, right? And we do have those religious rites of passage, but culturally we don't. So it's good to, I guess, yeah, it's a nice reception.
Yeah. And also the Yankees just tied the Rays.
Okay. Doesn't matter.
Harrison Bader hit a 3-run home run.
He's back?
He's back.
They're still not good.
He had leg lengthening surgery. He's finally. Okay, hold on. There's a couple more here.
They suck, bro. They suck.
Do they? I couldn't tell you one Yankee.
Give him some time. It's just the early
Volpe's
goings of
doing
May.
good though now.
It's the early goings of May. Give them some time. Let the youngins.
I expect
warm
at
up.
least 23 wins by now.
Well, just give them some time. Don't worry about it.
I couldn't tell you one Yankee.
I'll tell you when it's over. I know when things are over. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I'm just gonna follow your lead.
Dr. Cokes says tonight's show will be my in-flight entertainment to the Canary Islands. Friday shows with Matt are the best. Always feels like I'm in the room with you all. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the Canaries, Doctor. Jeez.
Canary Islands.
And then the first one of the night was Kager. It said, or Cager, I love your show. Always listen the day after work. I wanted to get in on that wood. Thank you. I hope that you win it. I hope everybody wins the wood. And Frank Dez says, over the years, you've taken great care in saving all the callers' names and phone numbers. I was curious when you were forced to get the new number for our show. Did you lose all of us? Yes. I can't get that whole thing from Skype over to Zoom. I can look into it. If I can export all my Skype contacts and upload them into Zoom, I'll look into it. But it's going to be a big, great reset for me.
You need the patron saint of the internet to maybe bless the computer.
Carlo
Acutis.
Thomas Aquinas.
Yeah, Thomas Aquinas. Larkstar says, thanks for keeping it up over the years, Frank. You are our genuine starlight in the evening. Epic love to all. Thank you, Lark. That's very kind of you to say. Max says, as a 6-foot-tall guy, anything between 5 and 6 feet is fine for a girl, but I personally find myself going for girls who are shorter. Maybe it's the personality that tends to come with the height. You think they're a little bit more, what?
Bubbly?
Bubbly? Is it submissive? What?
I think bubbly would be the word that I would use. Yeah.
Bubbly short girls?
Sure.
And there you have it. Thank you so much. Oh, Troy Rhodes says Elijah's Ride. I don't know. I don't think Vinny knows what Elijah was riding on in the Bible. I don't even know the passage. I have to go and find it.
I couldn't recite the Bible.
Okay.
What do you think I am here?
What do you think is going on? All right.
Thomas Aquinas.
All right, now let's see here. Let's go into.
It kind of makes you laugh every time.
I don't know. You keep saying it's just funny.
Remember
that's when my cousin went to college, though. That's funny. Thomas Aquinas.
Yeah. Well, I think one more thing over here, and then we're in the clear. Uber Viking says, have a friggin' fantastic Friday, Frank and Franklies. Oh, by the way, Matt, I've had a couple of people, just a few people, call in write
Franciscans,
and they say my wife and I are officially Franciscans instead. And a lot of people are very mad that you would disrupt the order of the audience.
I'm not disrupting the order.
Don't worry about that. I told them.
Some people just like to see things burn.
Exactly.
It's funny. Some people just want to watch the world burn, Mr. Wayne.
I'm glad you said that, because the way that I described it on Monday, when people were, because Vin, people in the chat room, they have given themselves the fun little community name of Franklies.
Yeah, sure.
Matt last week proposed that he is starting a new sect called the Franciscans. and I, on Monday, when I responded to a couple of really concerning emails,
sure,
people were very concerned that Matt would be splitting this schism that is forming.
Yeah.
I said, listen, it's not going to be a big schism, but you have to expect Matt to start a radical sect,
of course,
of things.
I'd expect
my
nothing
sect's a little way more conservative.
You like the
just
Spartans.
a little way more.
Yeah.
Way more concerned. So,
Just a little way more.
Just a little way more.
I want to know what the standards are. Like, what is it? What is it? What about the give us an example of what the Franciscans would not put up with that the Franklies would. You have to
Just like any type of liberal back talk, like an answer to what we say, like whatever we say, that's it. Like you know.
You know what you should do? Make a list. A top 5 things, that set the Franciscans apart from the Franklies.
Okay.
You do that for next week.
All right.
Okay, because I know that this takes contemplation. It's a very new development. Porpoiseful, thank you. Falcolon, thank you. Uper says, "Hey Frank, could you ask Matt what must have essentials? What are the must-have essentials for the zombie apocalypse?" Well, write a top 10 for that as well. Falcolon says, "Shout out to my wife Christine, taking care of me during my battle with gout. Thank you and love you." Oh.
What is gout?
Gout is the pirate's disease, yeah?
What? Yeah, I've
usually
heard
get it
of
from
it.
red wine or
Well, no, isn't
meat
scurvy the pirates?
I think that's one of the same. Are they the same thing?
Well, scurvy's with your gums because you don't have vitamin C.
Correct.
Isn't gout with your foot?
I thought
gout could be with. I think the majority is the foot. It might be any. Is it any extremity or is it only the foot?
I think it's the foot. I think it's calcification or crystallization.
It's painful.
Yeah, and the other thing there
it does
too
come
is
from like red wine and
yeah,
luxury. It's like the rich man's.
That's
it's
what
like a
I
rich
was gonna
man's
say,
diet.
like the kings and stuff.
Yeah,
would
kings
get
would get gout from
they were
their
proud
diet.
to get gout.
Yeah, it was
but it's
a badge of
also
honor.
it's also could be a warning sign for kidney dysfunction too. So you gotta watch out for that. You could get you could look into that as well. And then we have one last one over here from Alan Wrench. Says, "Hello to all the Goombas out there." We've got some Goombas in the studio tonight. Okay, we'll go back into those before we leave. Now, here's what I wanted to bring up. Here's the first thing. Oh man, you know what? I'm gonna leave the bionic eye shit out of the way. What do you want? Okay, I'll give you. We're gonna do one of these things. I'm gonna have to change the title of the show afterwards. I have an article. I have 2 articles here.
All right.
The first one is. Oh, Anthony left?
He did.
That's too bad. The first one is from MIT. It's the first babies conceived with a sperm-injecting robot have been born.
That's what I was talking about a couple weeks ago. Remember, I'm like, AI was involved, though, but it was robots. So, yeah, remember I said that? I'm like, yo, didn't you hear about that? They made, like, kids or whatever, so I guess I misworded it, but that's what I was talking about.
All right, so you want to talk about this one real quick?
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
Because that's like that show on Netflix, Sweet Tooth. You ever see that shit?
I haven't, but I saw the trailer.
Yeah.
And they're morphed.
Yeah, they're like animal hybrids.
Yes, exactly.
I'll save this bionic eye thing for next week during the shows there, and I'll change the title. But here you go. This is from the MIT Technology Review, which all of a sudden my spidey sense starts tingling when I think of MIT. Now, here it is. Ready? No! Oh, whew.
I thought the drum roll was very appropriate.
Scared the shit out of me. All right, here we go. The first babies conceived with sperm-injecting robot have now been born.
All right, yeah, no, go ahead, Reed. It'll probably answer my question.
Last spring, engineers in Barcelona packed up the sperm-injecting robot they designed and sent it by DHL to New York City. They followed it to a clinic there called the New Hope Fertility Clinic, where they put the instrument back together, assembling a microscope, a mechanized needle, a tiny petri dish, and a laptop. Then one of the engineers with no real experience in fertility medicine used a Sony PlayStation 5 controller.
Get the fuck out of here.
Fuck.
Used a Sony Play. Hold on, let me put us back on.
Does it really say that?
Yeah. They use a Sony PlayStation 5 controller to position a robotic needle. Now, listen, you can use PlayStation and Xbox controllers as MIDI controllers on a number of things.
They have
no question. But in this particular case, you would not think a PlayStation 5 controller is what is generating the movement of a sperm-donating robot.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you're right. It's a little shocking.
Is it not?
It is, especially if somebody's pretty much using a PlayStation 5 to enter the robot into a woman.
Yeah, well,
it's got fucking like Cheeto
that's
crumbs
what I
on
was just
it.
gonna say. There's a surgeon simulation game on PlayStation. I tried playing it. Everyone died. I'm dropping like that. What's that thing that spins to cut the
Like the
bones?
saw?
I fucking drop it inside the person's torso. It's just like.
Oh no!
It's like a modern day version of Operation.
Oh no, Matt, you killed them.
Yeah, it's fun.
Let's see. So the PlayStation 5 controller to position the robotic needle, eyeing a human egg through a camera, and then it moved forward on its own, penetrating the egg and dropping off a single sperm cell. Altogether, the robot was used to fertilize more than a dozen eggs. Wow. The result of the procedures, say the researchers, were healthy embryos, and now 2 baby girls who they claim are the first people born after fertilization by a robot.
So they're alive, these kids, right now.
My question is, are robot fertilized babies?
Yeah, that's what yeah.
Do they have a soul? Is this a where does the soul come from in this respect?
Oh, from the politicians that will be placed inside, like Hillary Rodham.
This is how they're going to make their spare bodies. Now, okay, let's just keep going a little bit. The result of the procedures, that say the researchers, were healthy embryos and of course the fertilization and the birth of those 2 children. I was calm. In that exact moment, I thought, it's just one more experiment, says Edward Alba, the student mechanical engineer who commanded the sperm-injecting device. The startup, I'm telling you, this is the Brave New World Hatcheries. The startup company that developed the robot, Overture Life, said its device is an initial step toward automating in vitro fertilization, or IVF, and potentially making the procedure less expensive and far more common than it is today. Right now, IVF labs are staffed by trained embryologists who earn upwards of $125,000 a year.
As they should.
To delicately handle sperm and eggs using ultra-thin hollow needle. You know who I heard...
Can we not, I'm sorry, but can we not skimp out on creating life? Do we have to downsize the cost of creating life? Can there anything be they're creating life to some capacity. Can we agree that they're worth a certain amount and we don't have to outsource this to robots?
Well, the robots is in this case would be a precision tool that they are.
Yeah, but they're saying that they could. Am I understanding that incorrectly? That they're saying that they can now cut cost by saving on these embryo placing surgeons, for lack of a better term, by utilizing these robots. Did I hear that incorrectly?
But some startups say the entire process could be carried out automatically or nearly so.
Right. So they're going to replace these people with the robots.
Well, that's what I said. This is the Brave New World. It's the Brave New World hatcheries. Now, the other reason why I brought this up is because you know who would have loved this news is Jeffrey Epstein. He, first of all, it's MIT, so we know his link to MIT along with Bill Gates, and and his link to Bill Gates and the MIT crowd, and that he was very, very into the genetic engineering. That's what his New Mexico Zorro Ranch was all about. In Zorro Ranch, he had this burning desire to actually seed the planet with his DNA. He was doing impregnation there.
Wow.
I would not be surprised if he was in some even indirect way associated with the preliminary research in this technology. I wouldn't be surprised, given it's MIT, it's genetic, it's a repopulation. I just wouldn't be surprised.
Nothing surprises me at this point. Like, very few things will surprise me at this point.
So this is what the MIT review. More babies. The main goal of automating IVF, said Enterprises, is simple. It's to make a lot more babies. Hey, you know what? Well, we murder millions every year through abortion. Babies are being made. They're being discarded. I just don't. About 500,000 children are born through IVF globally each year.
How many?
500,000. This is how they're going to maintain status quo population once they get rid of all the excess, and the excess being about 7.5 billion. You watch, Vin.
Listen, you speaking on these topics and actually being here, not watching it through a screen, gives your expression and the atmosphere that we're in a whole elevated experience.
So when I was at in your studio, and I was telling you, Vin, this is a global. We are talking about global conspiratorial.
Yes.
That's it. you're a little bit on your turf. You're a little bit more hesitant to say I believe you.
I'm not hesitant to say I believe you. I'm hesitant in the belief.
Right.
It's a different thing.
Okay.
I believe you. Sure. It's similar to what we were discussing last night on the podcast I did, determinism versus free will. And you could, his point is, well, you can't prove determinism. And my counter was, well, can you really prove free will? You really can't. You really can't. It's still a philosophy. Now, there's things in reality that Newtonian physics that we've disproven now through quantum physics and string theory and the quantum world, right? We've disproven Newtonian physics. So there is a possibility that does prove free will, but we don't know. Right, so that's where I'm just so open to any of this stuff. But to your point, I do hesitate to go further down the conspiracy theories that what's the word I'm looking for here, Frank? What's the term?
I don't know. That involved? Are we talking about the scale of the?
Yeah, I guess the scale of them would be what is my hesitation.
Yeah, well, it's. You have to start reading what the movers and the shakers publish and they say that they're going to do. Yeah, I mean, that's just the whole thing there. You have to read things like the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the Great Reset, the Great Narrative. You have to get into what the you have to look into the technocratic class on the world, what they're saying, what they want to do in not only reshaping the way that we do business, the way that our money works, but also what they want to do to the human species, where they want to bring the species. And I'm not talking about they want to go to the moon. They want to change they want to change us. They want to make us cybernetic. They want us to be linked into the Internet of Things. We are some of those things. I mean, I
could see it definitely going that way, and whether it be a natural.
They're telling you, Vin.
Well, here's
they're
the
telling
thing.
us.
I could see that being a natural evolution of things. I can understand that, and conceptually it makes sense, right? You go from a smartphone, and you're like, oh, well, let's put the smartphone in your arm, and I could see how that would evolve over time.
Right.
My thing is, if this is something, and I believe you, because there are videos and there are articles, and there is proven track record of these things transpiring. Where are the people, myself included, that are blind to this? Like it's almost like it's so in front of your face that are we just all really that distracted by TikTok?
Yeah.
And extending our legs?
Yes.
And Thomas Aquinas? I mean,
yes, yeah. Well, I that is a big part of it. It's not all TikTok, and it's also that's why they make so many investments in really capturing future generations. That's the big thing. I mean, a lot of us, we would never hold out our arm and let them shoot an RFID chip inside of us, but they know that future generations who are spending more and more time in digital environments would love to be more enmeshed in that, especially. This is especially tied in with all this transgender, what I should say, reality deconstructionist, this subjective nonsense that's going on right now. To be able to strip people away from very basic biological realities of what it is to be human, and the binary that humanity is made up of between men and women, to strip people away from that and have that and accept it with whole cloth, there's no limit to what they will accept at that point. And if at that time humanity is nothing but just flesh and bone and a blank canvas, and you can be whatever you want to be from hour to hour, then how much more alluring would it be to plug yourself into a digital world where you can literally be anything you want to be, and your senses are totally engaged because you have now been fused into that system. This is the first step. This is the first step of getting us into that Keanu Reeves type of matrix. It's to actually to try to convince people that we aren't an objective reality.
Well, that's kind of what he brings up in that book, and the deterministic approach to what Sam Harris brings up. And what it does is it removes the moral responsibility from a culture, and it rips it out by saying, well, I was predetermined to act this way, do this thing, think this way. It's all been already signed off to who I am as a person. So I really have no control of these things. And what it does is it removes the responsibility of the individual by just throwing it up to the idea of determinism. Now, the idea that you were just talking about with the immersive experience of alternate reality, or, you know, the immersive experience of, you know, technology, I could think of playing Red Dead Redemption in my Red Dead Redemption 2 in my basement and riding the horse through town, and a bar fight breaks out in front of me, and I'm watching it saying, this is fucking real. Like, this is real.
Yeah.
Like, if I had a 3D, the horses, and a brawl breaks out, and they're scrapping, and I'm just moseying, the lighting's perfect. And I said, if I had a 3D headset on, right, and now you start integrating smells, right, and touch and feel, I was like, this is some immersive shit right here. And this is with an Xbox controller in my hand and a TV in front of my screen, you know, in front of me. So I could see how the integration of being whoever you want to be, whatever you want to be, in this alternate reality is so desirable, right? Because it's like, oh shit, yeah, I could
be a cowboy
on my couch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Ready Player One is another step to that too, where it's a little bit more dystopia. It's a little bit more Blade Runner, a little bit Matrix as well, where you have a little bit of both, where you still see people who are living in these beehive kind of societies. They were all in these stacks. They almost look like Winnebagos that are stacked on top of each other, and we don't really have property. We don't really have anything. We're all on digital currency, and it's just very low culture. And we still have 1 foot in the physical world and 1 foot that is more so in the digital world. Like, that's where we have our release, because over here in the real place, there's less and less for us here, because there's less and less opportunity. We've been regulated out of existence and all that shit. But
wow.
But yeah, and all that. See, all this comes from the idea that the MIT story. Anthony's here. What's going on, Ant? You missed all of our Zadalza Network reminiscing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we did that right after the
ton of Zadalza recaps.
I for the quick notes for you. I made a comment about how, if you think about around 2012, 13, around there, the kind of people that we had at the studio doing their shows all at once. We had Vinny doing his show. He's still up to it. I was pretty much sharpening my chops. You were just about to break out in 2014. We had Anthony Rodia in there, Chrissy Mayer in there, all at the same time, filling up time slots. Yeah. I said, if we all had some kind of unbreakable bond between all of us, and we were like, this network, we got to stay together to keep this done. In 2023, with all of those people going off and building their brands and what they are right now, if they had stayed together, ZenLive.tv would have at least 1 million to 2 million people watching every week. Just because of, I think that's just incredible how it was a.
Well, it goes to show that consistency will turn to numbers eventually.
But to have all that concentration, the concentration of those personalities in that one little dinky studio, that's I think that's pretty cool to think back on. Now.
I think we didn't do enough of those hands where we all put our hands in together. And
we had a couple of network meetings.
We did,
and everybody came.
Yeah, we did.
That was a lot of fun. That was good stuff.
We had a lot of people at those meetings.
Yeah, people were enthused. It was a lot of fun. Matt did his. This was a big thing though for Matt over the week. This week he had his first shark call. He was called into a local waterway. Matt is an animal trapper.
It was a bull shark.
They had a shark that showed up in a local waterway, and Matt was called in.
Get the fuck out of here!
Bull shark.
And
how big?
6 feet.
Whoa!
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yes. Okay.
He's got footage of it. Here's
it wasn't mean.
Here's the footage.
It was very nice.
I'm gay.
Wow, he's very soft-spoken.
I thought it'd be more aggressive.
Yeah,
no, there's different ones. I don't know if he'll show all the ones I made.
I'm gay.
So it just so happens that a gay shark was the one that Matt had to catch.
All right.
There's also we got this very weird. Matt came in touch with a chicken as well.
It was rabid.
A rabid chicken.
All right.
Yeah, listen to this.
Anyway.
What was wrong with him, Matt?
It's just spazzing out
Did you
from rabies.
get him? Yeah, I was gonna say rabies. Did you get him checked? Wow.
That's a rabid. I've never seen a chicken act like that before.
Wild.
Or whatever the hell. Okay, so 8:45. Let me be honest about what we can do here. I think I'm going to keep my black market kingpin thread for Monday. I had a thread. I guess we can do it right now. It could be fun. I had a thread, and I'll do my Jay Dyer extended. No, we'll do the Jay Dyer extended one. You ever see any of these liberal articles? The what they call title speak, where they'll say things like, we. For example, my buddy Jay said this. He said, "I just found something in my butt, and here's why that's a good thing." You ever see those types of articles?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, he started a thread on. He said, "Post your own liberal article title speak below," and people started going at it. A couple of recaps from yesterday. Jay says, "While we all find kittens cute, it's time to finally admit they are a sign of privilege and racism." Another one. Watch this migrant absolutely own a racist shopkeeper for his microaggressions. 10 economic lessons privileged cis can learn from tent cities. And then there's more here. I got a few more that was sent in. Here's a few that came in from Krista in Pittsburgh. Krista said, "Your skinny girl margarita and celebratory sombrero are racist. Why Cinco de Mayo is problematic for whites."
That's got to be a real.
It's got to be somewhere.
Because that doesn't sound fake. That sounds pretty legit.
Sounds like AOC would say.
Like I've seen something like that before.
That's
I'm sure it is. There is someone that wrote a version of that article somewhere that is standing by that tooth and nail.
Here's another one. How Mercury retrogrades backward patriarchal reign is terrorizing the trans community. And one more from Krista. She said, "It's time we reconsider toothpaste. Is desiring white teeth inherently racist?" I'm telling you that's the world we live in right now, where it's very hard to say where if we've hit the back wall.
Yeah. The sheer fact that each one of us is sitting here going, that might be an article somewhere. There might be someone writing that somewhere. The sheer fact that we're even having that conversation around these mock articles is unbelievable.
Here's one from Jalen Wennings. He said, "What to do if your cat began showing signs of racism and Holocaust denialism after January 6th?" You got everything in that one.
January 6th.
My cat started denying the Holocaust after January 6th, the insurrection. Oh, here's another one from Jalen Wennings. 10 ways being trans will reduce your carbon footprint. There's one more. Yes, the world is ran by pedo vampires, and here's why that's a good thing.
Right.
Here's why that's a good thing.
Vaclav Zekrich, Adam Krejci said, "The world is falling apart around us. Here's why that's a good thing." The good thing that always pops up. And is there one more that I set aside? Yeah, here you go. Packy said, a small nuclear war would stall global warming. So that's fine. Great. Just keep it up in Ukraine then. Maybe we can turn the thermostat for the planet down a couple of ticks. All right, so we got that.
I could stop global warming. I know how to stop it in one day.
What are you going to do?
You get the world leaders gonna be like, "Oh, there's your biggest volcano. You're gonna drop a fucking nuke in it. We're gonna drop a fucking nuke in this one." And you just nuke the volcanoes, and it'll create the fucking ash cloud for a few months.
A few months?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be longer than a few months?
Yeah. Experts say just maybe 3 weeks.
Experts. I've been talking to them a lot these days, the experts. Okay, so here's what I wanted to do with the black market kingpin, Vin.
All right.
And Matt, you'd like this too, but I'm going to do it on Monday, I think, because we don't have the time. And for good reason. The conversation was just incredible tonight. So I heard, obviously, after all these months now, about the last 2.5 or so, we had this incredible output from the media to tell everybody that they were nuts for thinking that the government was going to make a play to ban gas stoves around the country.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They're nuts. You're conspiracy theorists. You're nuts. Nobody's taking your gas stoves. Nobody's taking your gas stoves. We get that for a couple of months now. And then this past week, New York, our state of New York, they passed it in Albany that all new structures above what? How many was it?
You would know better than I would.
All new structures in the state of New York, there's a certain criteria, but they many of them are going to be disallowed from installing gas stoves now. Only electric stoves.
I think it's like commercial build, like residential, like apartment buildings. I think it's like apartment buildings.
That's where it's starting. That's where it's starting. So here you have it. A precedent is being set in New York, and they're coming after this shit. You know, California, they're not allowing combustion cars there after a certain time.
I mean, 2030 or something like that.
Dodge is done, bro. They're not making V8s. They're stopping that. So.
Yeah, and I think Jersey also said by like 2030 something, there'll be no more retail of gas vehicles.
So
I gotta get my classic car soon.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
The infrastructure is there. We're on the gas stove thing, but for the electric car thing, the infrastructure is not there by any stretch of the imagination.
Even if it were, it's just there's so many things wrong with it all. And
I'm not opposed to electric cars by any stretch. I think that there's
if somebody has
I feel like you get electrocuted. If
somebody has the money, I mean, aside from the fact that we've seen these things just spontaneously combust, but if somebody has the money and they say, you know what, I'm going to set this up at home. It's going to be for local driving,
right?
Then fine,
makes sense.
But it would be totally stress-inducing if I drove to Myrtle Beach in an electric car.
I have a friend that did. And he had to make several stops to recharge, and that was his.
So you got to plan out where you stop. You got to sit there for 45 minutes,
and then if there's a line,
oh fuck that, man! That's what they're doing, de-industrializing the world, and they're taking away our standards of living, and it's for bullshit reasons. It's not going to help the atmosphere at all. Anyway, my concept was, if you were going to become a kingpin, because all these types of regulations, they create black markets. We've seen that from Prohibition. If you were going to become a kingpin of any black market cartel, and heroin set aside, we get it, yeah, there's always going to be black markets for drugs and illicit drugs. But if you're going to be a black market kingpin for anything, any kind of black market that it's going to form or has formed or will form around government bans or regulation, what would it be? Would it be incandescent light bulbs? Would you want to be the biggest incandescent light bulb dealer in the country, that people can come to you and get an illegal light bulb? Gas stoves.
I think stoves are way too big.
What about rainwater? What about rainwater collection?
It's funny you say that. I was just talking about, what was I just talking about with someone? And I said it's bizarre. You can't collect rainwater. Like what is that?
Oh, you can get very severely fined.
Oh,
and there's some states in the union
go to jail
where you are actually taxed.
Can you go to jail?
I believe so.
I believe you can.
I believe so.
I believe you can.
In New York, I mean, there's raw milk laws all over the place.
That's what it was.
It's ridiculous.
We were talking about raw dairy, and the idea was that, well, you could buy raw meat, you could buy raw eggs, right? But you can't buy. What do you know? What other than what is the narrative of why you can't buy raw dairy?
I don't.
It
Is it
makes
pasteurization?
you sick, yeah, because it takes all the fucking real vitamins.
They're talking about pasteurization,
but it's obviously a market.
Which when you look into Pasteur himself, he was a fraud. And so you should do that on your show one night. But as far as New York law goes, you can have raw butter, you can have raw cheese, and you can have.
So you can have raw cheese.
You can have raw cheese in New York, not raw milk though.
I did, because I do purchase raw cheese at just Stop and Shop.
Raw cheese,
raw dairy cheese.
It's just raw dairy cheese.
Delicious. It's you know what's funny?
It's not pasteurized before they make the dairy.
You know what's funny? So I started eating a more carnivore-based diet. I wanted to change up the way I ate. and I started eating the raw dairy cheese, and it's so silky and smooth, and it's just doesn't really fuck with your stomach much. And then I had one piece of like yellow dairy, deli sliced
Processed
cheese.
shit.
Man, you taste it like that. Like you're like, holy shit, this is really processed.
You know what? I took, out of morbid curiosity, I took a nibble off the side. We went to some kind of a party or something, and there was a sandwich station, and somebody actually just bought a package of Kraft singles so that you can throw some Kraft onto it, whatever. And I said, oh my God, I haven't tasted a slice of Kraft singles in a long time. Dude, it was like soft plastic. I don't know. It was like, it was odd. I don't know. Like,
it is weird.
I know
It doesn't. And then the raw dairy thing is, I didn't know that. I figured the cheese obviously wasn't illegal because I'm purchasing it at regular supermarket.
Raw cheese. Yeah. I get the raw milk delivered in, and there's a loophole where if you are, and I told you about this farm.
Yeah.
If you are part of like a farm
community
membership, it has to be like a membership to a club.
Right.
That's how they get around the loophole for delivery, and I get it delivered. I mean, Aurora just housed like a full glass of. I give her like little quarter glasses of the raw chocolate milk. She loves it. She asked for 3 refills.
Right.
Today and I get that delivered every 2 weeks. These half-gallon jugs from the Amish farms in Pennsylvania, and. So New York is backwards like that. In some places, you get taxed for the size of your roof, for the actual surface space of your roof, because that will determine how much rainwater runoff there will be on your roof. So, this country is absolutely fucking insane.
That is... So here's the thing, right? So you're telling me all these things, and I'm in New York. I know that I can't just go get. So this is something.
Do you know New York at one point recently, Vin, was I don't know if they went through with it, but we were covering it when it was making headlines a few years ago. They were considering making it making stargazing something you needed a license for.
What? How could they do that?
Come on.
Especially when it came to state parks and things like that, you needed a license to just pop a squat and look at this fucking sky.
Get the fuck out of here.
You need fishing licenses.
I can understand that.
I don't.
To some degree. To some degree, like hunting, right? You need a hunting license. You need to know how to hunt. You do need to know how to fish, right? There are like requirements to do these things.
No.
I mean, fishing less than hunting for sure. But I can understand.
I understand if you need to make some kind of local ordinances about where you're shooting firearms to hunt.
Right? No, not fishing. You don't think so?
Well, what are you going to do? You're going to cast a line into somebody's house and hook them in. If you go on to the Merritt Parkway over there.
Right.
Around October, you can have your pick of any fucking turkey in the state of Connecticut.
Sure.
There's just turkey all over the place. And along the Merritt Parkway, they allow you to go over there and hunt the turkey, but only bow and arrow, because of course, if you miss one, there's houses all over the place.
Sure.
So I understand that kind of a thing. But as far as a license to actually go into a place that is safe enough to hunt, why? No. Why would you need a license to go?
I guess there's a infrastructure there that needs to be supported through licensing.
It's an infrastructure that shouldn't exist. Licensing is just, that's gangsterism.
That's a good point. I mean,
it's gangsterism. What you need, Vin, is that your trust. And your trust in government needs to.
It's not government. I don't trust the government.
That's government.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Who are you paying for the license?
Yeah, yeah, all right. Valid point.
You need your trust broken like a twig. You have to see what's really going on here, man.
I get it. I guess I don't want to see it.
I know.
I don't want to see it.
It's the worst part.
I don't want to see it. I just want to live in my little bubble, do my podcast, help people grow and develop to the best version of themselves, and then they could go on and see if they want to.
I actually got fined for that, fishing with no license.
Where?
At the reservoir. And whatever we caught, I forget who I was with. Yeah, whatever we caught, we threw back. And I went to court in North Castle that same day. There was 2 people. I don't know. I don't want to say, but, you know, two people that probably shouldn't be here. They were doing the same thing. They're fishing without a license, but when the judge was talking about the shit, then he's like, but then there was a bucket and then there was dead fish around them. They were just catching them, like killing them, slaughtering them, and like just discarding them.
They weren't
and
even
we got the same fine.
And they weren't even catching them to eat?
No, and we got the same fine.
Their fine should have been INS shows up and man, oh man. Okay, well, listen. So that's what we're going to be doing on Monday a little bit. Kingpin of any black market. What would it be?
I think rainwater at this point.
Rainwater. Can you provide somebody with a stream to fish in without a license? Stargazing. I'll get
stargazing.
Hey,
that's an easy one.
You want to stargaze? Come to my field tonight. We're gonna have some coffee.
You want to look at the cosmos?
You want cosmos? If you don't have to pay to watch the stars, but if you want some coffee, we've got coffee there.
Right.
It's only $1. Come by, stargazing.
Right.
That's what we need. So, Vin, let everybody know. I hope everybody goes to VinnyBrusco.com and also the Vinny Brusco Show on YouTube. Go. And I would love to have you back here.
I'd love to be back.
I would also, I cannot wait to see what you come up with your live streaming project, no matter how infrequent it is, if it's once a week, whatever. I'd love to work with you to get that on the network. But in the meantime, what do you have coming up? What do you have in the feeder for release? When does the interview you did today get released, or yesterday? Go ahead.
So, a few episodes in the pipeline. I have a great episode coming up with Dr. Ido Cohen. He's a integration psychologist and integrates ayahuasca and other types of psychedelics into his therapy. So that's coming in the pipeline. I have a podcast coming up with Danny Massa. He's a Wim Hof certified instructor, and he's also on this season of Survivor. Also facilitate a men's group called the Council of Dudes. It's going to be an online as well. Right now it's in person, but there's going to be an online component where guys just get together and try to elevate each other and celebrate each other's wins and kind of lean on each other through some struggles. So it's been a really impactful thing that I've been doing. I really found a very connective fiber in myself through that. And then I do some one-on-one life coaching. I do hate the terminology, but insights, perspectives, and anything that I could kind of provide men to help them kind of overcome any struggles they're interfacing with. So that's kind of what I've been doing.
I when Anthony told me you were doing, and you were telling me too, I love it, because I always say that men need more and more spaces, and they need more not support groups, but just there needs to be male spaces, and there's got to be just I don't know, it's necessary at this point. It really is.
Yeah, and the more I do it, the more I realize that it is needed, and the feedback I get from it is super rewarding, and I'm happy to be able to show up in that space comfortable, and it is something that I'm very honored to do. So I do love doing it.
So I guess everybody should just go subscribe to you and keep the notifications on, and whenever you have new things to upload, they'll see it.
Yeah, podcasts drop once a month, kind of sporadically throughout the month, just based on the scheduling of them. But yeah, once a month a new podcast comes out over on obviously youtube.com/the VB Show, and then everything else is at the VB Show.
Okay, well the links to all of Vinny's stuff is in the description of this episode. Matt, do you have anything going on for this the weekend?
No, I don't think so.
Well, whatever. Maybe we'll all hang out sometime. Tomorrow night might be a good night for a cigar, but I have to do some of these super chats to end. I also have an announcement, because on QuiteFrankly.tv, we're running over, but it doesn't matter. On QuiteFrankly.tv, the After Hours program, the Weekend Roundup, is about to begin. Abe just got in touch. He said, well, we're going to do this on Monday with the black market kingpin stuff. But he said I would collect lighters, because they will definitely ban lighters for sure. And then he said about our stargazing idea, Vin.
Sure.
He said, you guys can call yourself the Stargaze. Get Gays.
I like it.
The Stargaze.
Let's do it.
Brilliant.
Let's do it.
Brilliant.
It's good.
The TikTok will love that.
That would be something else.
Okay. All right. Let me get you guys up on screen while I go through these last messages. Dan Schumann says, I would be the golf kingpin. Nobody tees off on the PGA Tour without kissing my ring. Stowsoup says, another great Friday chill session. Thank you, Frank, Matt, gents. Good laughs always. Great way to end the week. And then Hugh Jorgen says, speaking of wood and height, I am not what you think would call a tall standing up, but laying down. Well, anyway, wait. I am not what you would call tall standing up, but laying down. Well, anyway, I had no clue that Serge Tankian was Serge from
System of a Down.
System of a Down.
Sure.
So you want to sing something before you leave?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead. Just as well-informed, based guy. Great guest, cool thought processes he has. So there you have. You're going to have definitely a couple more people come over and...
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So you have to start releasing more than one episode a month now.
I'll release a whole album of Toxicity and
Yes.
hit the charts.
Yeah, that's it. Just go up there. Tonight, go live on your account. Oh, you can't go live until you hit 1,000 subscribers, right?
I have no idea.
Well, you go live on your account. Just sing aerials for everybody.
That's it. I'll sing Sugar.
All right. Yeah, that's it. We'll go back in time.
I have their demo tape.
I remember we were listening to that on the cassette.
Yeah.
We were burning it for each other.
Yeah, the demo tape. Yeah.
Loved it.
It was great.
Gypsy Muse says, Frank, I have hundreds of boxes of letters and photo books, and yet I cannot read or look at any of them. But if someone were to tell me, let's get rid of these, it would be impossible. It's weird. P.S. Happy Scorpio lunar eclipse. Thank you, Gypsy. Oh yeah, I need to read them all. You have to read them. You can't. You just have to. You have to watch old family videos.
You journal?
I don't journal. I need to. I need to start writing outside of what I prepare for the show every night.
It's a really powerful relationship you develop with yourself through journaling. And I think what's cool is that one day, if my kids, I try to find a cool journal. It's kind of Indiana Jones-esque and has a vibe to it. But I think one day if my kids ever come upon those and they get to read, they'll get a deep insight into who their dad was.
I'm hoping that, when that day, if there's ever a day that Aurora wants to have a little bit more, if I'm gone, God forbid, or something like that, and she just wants to know a little bit more about me before she was really cognizant of who I really was. I mean, she's got the archive from Zadal's. She's going to be able to watch me literally grow up in real time.
That's wild.
It's wild.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
She's going to see me make a lot of mistakes.
A lot of people don't have that.
Say a lot of things that you can't say anymore.
Sure.
So, but I want to leave behind written things as well. So,
because once the Thomas Aquinas takes over the internet with the patron saint of the internet, all that shit will get erased, and you only have letter. It'll be like Waterworld. Paper.
I thought you were going to say it's going to be like Aliens.
No, I went with Waterworld.
You remember in Aliens when they're going through the ship and they find that one person, that one girl that's up against, please kill me.
Yeah.
I always loved that part.
That movie scared the shit out of me.
Yeah,
5th grade, 6th grade, whatever it was.
What else do we have here? Big Red says, Dear Frank ladies, if you didn't win that beautiful piece of wood in the raffle, I have limited edition Big Red wood available in the morning. First come, first served. That's from Big Red. If you ladies are not happy with losing out on the stovetop cover, then there you go. And then, yes, Frank Dez, just a little bit of follow-up on whether or not all of the Skype callers can be saved. I think we have a lead. But thank you so much for the super chats. That's it over there. If you send something in over the weekend, I will read it on Monday. So if you want to get in on the raffle for not only the wood, the stovetop cover, but Matt's top 10 ways of surviving an encounter with Mothman, that'll be in there as well. We did Rockfin. Everything's well there. And on Rumble, no Rumble rants, but we had more than enough to do. And thank you to Chai Possum on the Gold Pills on QuiteFrankly.tv. Says, good times tonight. Thanks, Frank, Matt, Vinny, and Ant. You guys, it's been wonderful to hang out with you.
Thank you so much for having. This was, again, a lot of fun. But besides that, watching you orchestrate this and knowing the evolution of this and seeing it behind the scenes and now coming to this space and watching you like a chef and a maestro conduct this symphony that is your show. And I don't mean to make that grandiose. It really is. It's really cool to watch all of this unfold. It's encouraging and it's inspiring, and I thank you for having me. And you are, like you said, we're lifers in this, and I'm very glad that we've reconnected.
Yeah, this is a lifelong friendship now, man. No doubt about it. And if anytime you want to come by, even just to sit in and watch just some of the functional stuff that goes on, I don't give tutorials these days, but I let you.
I'll be an intern.
All right. Hey, whatever the hell, whatever your wife allows you to.
Oh, she's cool with whatever, but it's a matter of my own sleep schedule.
All right, I know, because you're one of those freaks that wake up at 5. I mean, like 5 to 4.
That's
5
good.
to 4.
That's good.
5 to 4.
I try.
I meant 4. A lot of people wake up at 5. Aurora wakes up at 5. Therefore, I do too. But yeah, wake up at 4 o'clock. So you do morning workouts?
I was. I've fallen off since, so that's the sign that I need to get back into it. But I do what I can.
Matt, when do you wake up? You're really early too.
Oh, it depends. As summer goes on, the busier it gets, the earlier I'll have to wake up, especially if we're expanding.
Well, those are all good problems to have. Business expansion and summertime. Sharks. Gay sharks. That's
Chickens.
it. All right, guys. Until next week, thank you all for the company, and I will see you soon. Become a sponsor of the show over the week. Oh, sorry. My balls have just descended. Become a sponsor of my puberty over the weekend. You go to sponsor us on the quitefrankly.tv, and that's where all of our weekend programming, especially our Sunday night features and everything that I curate, it all goes on live there. And have a good time. I'll see you in that chat room afterward. Good night, Vinny. Good night, Matt. And
good night.
Good night, Francis.
Good night, everybody.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Quite Frankly is filmed before a live studio audience, and now our super chatters, starting with Dan Schumann, Stostube, Hugh Jorgen, Gypsy Muse, Big Red, Frank Dez, Larkstar 444, Max, Troy Rhodes, Dan Schumann again, KT Sky D, Dooku Dan, Gail Smith, Matt Nelson, Summer 711, Benjamin Farina, Dr. Cokes, and Cager. Thank you to Twisted Wizard and all of our wonderful friends on quitefrankly.tv. I'm releasing the scratchin', and I will see you in there for the after hours programming that begins shortly. Have a great weekend. Take care.